Good to see you.
Got it. Roll call, please.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Root Askew. Commissioner Bickle.
Here.
Commissioner Kong.
Here.
Commissioner Leffel.
Here.
Commissioner Lopez.
Here.
Commissioner Oglesby.
Here.
Commissioner Poitras.
Here.
Commissioner Velasquez.
Here.
Vice Chair Craig.
Here.
And Chair Gorley.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Commissioner Poitras, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
General public comments. Anyone may address the commission briefly about items not already on the agenda. Do we have anybody in LAFCO land raising their hands?
Chair, no hands are raised on Zoom.
Okay, anybody in our public audience? Seeing none, we'll move on to special business. Oath of office. The Honorable Mayor Anna Velasquez, could you come up front here, please? Commissioner, Honorable Mayor, do you, Anna Velasquez, raise your right hand, solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States, Constitution of the State of California, against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you will take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are both about to enter.
I do to all.
Thank you. I believe that's you're starting your second or third term now as alternate? It's your third term as an alternate?
My second.
Second term. Great. Now we'll move on to our consent agenda. Do we have any items from the dais to pull for the consent?
Chair, I move approval of consent agenda.
Second.
It's Ian has seconded, first by Mary Ann. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you. Old business, adoption of a resolution amending the commission's adopted policy for preservation of open space and ag lands. Staff report?
Thank you, Chair Gorley, members of the commission. It's been a very long journey to get to this point of an updated agricultural preservation policy for LAFCO, and I want to thank all of the commissioners and our communities and many stakeholders who have diligently and very helpfully contributed to the updates that are before you now. As part of agenda item number 6, we have enclosed a revised draft policy implementation guideline set for your review and possible adoption this evening. And these revisions are consistent with the guidance that was provided most recently by the Commission last month. And Darren McBain, our principal analyst, will provide a more detailed update. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate, and the Honorable Chair, members of the Commission. Staff and Council have developed a set of revised draft guidelines for your consideration based on comments and requests for clarification that the Commission provided last month. The draft guidelines are organized into 4 main sections, as shown on this next slide. And the main changes since the last meeting are also summarized at the top of page 38 of 59 in the meeting packet that you have before you. In staff's view, these revised guidelines respond to the direction and request for clarification that the commission asked for and directed. They support and build on the commission's adopted policy and LAFCO's legislative mandates to balance ag preservation with needs for orderly growth and development of communities. And they also provide a clear path for applicants and property owners to have certainty on what to expect as to ag mitigation requirements for annexation proposals, while still retaining flexibility within that framework. Also, the revisions to Section 2 of the policy help clarify the roles of the executive officer and the commission, and they provide a new check and balance in the form of an appeal process for decisions made by the EO in implementing the policy. And all of this is a change for the better from staff's perspective. Lastly, staff and council are not recommending any new or further changes to Section 4 alternative mitigation proposals as approved by the commission last month. And we're also not recommending that the commission adopt the changes that were proposed by Landwatch. We do greatly appreciate Landwatch putting in the time and the care to engage with this process and make suggestions, but based on review and consultation with our general counsel, Section 4 is adequate and appropriate as currently written and does not require additional environmental review. Therefore, having said all that, staff is recommending today that the commission hear from any agencies or members of the public today, review and discuss these draft revisions, and adopt the draft resolution approving and putting these guidelines and the related policy refinements into effect, or provide other direction to staff. And with that, before turning it back over to you, Mr. Chairman, our general counsel has been pretty involved in shaping these guidelines to date, so let me just ask Reed if he has any additions or clarifications, if I may. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Great presentation. Nothing to add. Appreciate the brevity of it. And if there are specific questions, I am here for those and will respond as requested.
Okay, I'll go ahead and move this out to public comment. Anybody from the public wishing to comment on this item? Welcome.
Lisa Brinton, Community Development Director for the City of Salinas, and I just want to say thank you. This has been a process. It hasn't always been an easy conversation, but I think the fruit of the efforts is very solid. And so the City of Salinas, we support the policy as proposed and say, let's implement it. And if there are hiccups as we go forward, we can adjust those in the future. But this is a very strong policy that we support, and we thank you for your effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Anyone else?
I just also want to support the staff recommendation, but I want to point out that the cost of ag mitigation is really negligible on a per unit basis. Right now, easements are appraising at around $13,000 an acre. Let's say it's $15,000. I understand that the density for affordable developments is somewhere between 10 and 30 units per acre. That's a one-time expense of $500 to $1,500 a unit. You know the reasons for high cost of housing here. Everything costs more in California because we have heavy regulation, high taxes, and a Byzantine permitting system. And we have the market forces. This is a house in my neighborhood that just went on the market for $910,000 in Salinas, in Creekbridge, for a 4-bedroom. Estimated mortgage, $5,800 a month. You need to have an income over $200,000 to get that mortgage. Now, I think we're going to be building commuter houses for people to park their self-driving cars eventually. But I hope we get to that 32% affordable housing that you're shooting for. If eliminating this small fee makes it possible to have workforce housing, I certainly support that, because we can't have an ag industry without the land and the workers. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Anybody out in Zoom land?
Chair, we have a hand raised for Mayor Mike Labar from King City.
Mayor Mike, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Commissioners. I want to just say how much I appreciate all the time, thought, and listening you put into these updates. I support this most recent draft and urge approval, but thank you again.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, we'll move this back to the dais. Do we have anybody on the dais that wants to either jump out with a motion or a comment or a question? Wendy?
I think I'll start by just saying this has been a very, very in-depth discussion, and I appreciate the level of engagement that every single member of this board has put into the conversation, the engagement of our cities, engagement of public, public stakeholders for a variety of reasons. I think that everyone has been very clear about the desire for supporting additional affordable and workforce housing, as well as the recognition that Monterey County is that agriculture and preserving agricultural land is at the foundation of who we are as a community and our history and our future. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for that clear vision that we've all aligned, I think, working collectively towards. I appreciate the language that's been put together. I just need to go on record with three areas that I remain concerned with. I think we've reached a fair path forward, but do just want to say on page 38, where we add the ability of the statement at the footnote where it says the executive officer's determination that application is incomplete with regard to the commission's policy preservation, open space and agricultural lands may be appealed to the commission. I have some reservations about the including an appeal process. And I'll just say that that's because of the way in which I saw this board very clearly go on record with direction to our executive director to support an application before it was ever even submitted. So if our board is in a position or is of the opinion that we've predetermined outcomes of applications before our executive director even has the chance to look at them, I'm concerned about the message that sends to applicants that they don't have to submit complete applications, and that if they can count votes on this board, that they will just simply get what they want moving forward. So I'm concerned about the precedent that sets, given the comments that this board made prior to applications being received last year or 2 years ago, in the past 2 years. So that's one concern. The second concern that I have on page 41 is where we talk about the mitigation ratio and criteria, and we state that agricultural mitigation should be provided at a 1-to-1 ratio, and we're removing the words at no less than. I think that if our goal is to provide potential exceptions later on in the policy for ag mitigation, that we should be starting at least with a no less than 1-to-1 ratio. By starting with, by removing the language at no less than, we're starting at a ratio that's only going to go down from there. So we're going to be seeing a significant decrease in the amount of ag mitigation that we ultimately have for our land. And then on page, my third concern is on page 43, where we talk about public benefit, the language that says examples of projects that may qualify for alternative agricultural mitigation include, but are not limited to, these proposals or areas of a proposal that provide certainty with respect to the proposed future uses of public benefit, such as deed-restricted, affordable, inclusionary, and/or agricultural housing. And I think that the portion of that I find concerning is where it's saying but not limited to, and the section that says or portions of a proposal or areas within a proposal. We're starting to get into a reality where we're carving out specific areas of projects to exempt those areas from ag mitigation. If we were going to go down examples of issues that would be exempted. I think that I would have appreciated a conversation about the types of density that we're talking about, or other types of ways where we're actually achieving the goals that we state. Where we say we want housing, we want additional housing, we want additional affordable housing. So if we're getting very specific about significance of how we're achieving that, I would have been comfortable with that. But the way that this is worded, I think it leaves us open to some more gray area that makes it difficult for our cities to be able to move forward in the way that they've asked us. Those are my 3 concerns. I'm going on record. It seems like everyone is generally in agreement with where we've landed in what's in front of us. But I did just want to be really clear that I think those 3 areas are going to come back and be problematic for us in the future.
Commissioner Velasquez?
Yeah, thank you so much for taking into account all of the conversations that we've had the past several months to arrive to this. I also just want to make sure, I know we don't have, in terms of the appeal process, that's really not articulated here or spelled out in terms of how that's going to move forward. But I do also want to make sure that, I know that we use words like inadequate. So I think it has to really be words that are really specific in terms of if the application is going to move to an appeal process, that it's clearly articulated what portions of the policies and provisions it has not met based on, LAFCO's statutory requirement of what we need to be looking at. So that way it's not left as it's inadequate to whom, and that it's a subjective in terms of an objective approach. So I think if we really articulate what would deem an application inadequate would really help to avoid a lot of the potential miscommunication in the future. Thank you.
Anyone else from the dais?
Chair Gorley.
Yes.
First of all, I just really wanted to thank staff because I think they listened to all the comments and worked hard to incorporate in what we were asking. And I hear what Commissioner Askew is saying, but I think this is a fair process. And I think what I heard the city's asking for most was a clear path of applying and knowing kind of what the rules were and what they were going to, I guess, work toward when they would put something forward to all of us. I've had quite a few discussions with staff, and I understand there is a checklist that the cities receive, and I think that maybe answers, and I've not seen it, but according to staff, it's very clear what the items are that are being asked for as something is submitted so that it can be analyzed fairly and accurately by staff. So I'm good with that I think there is something that's concrete that people are given, and it's a checklist that they have to adhere to in order for that to come forward. So for me, I think it's a very fair process, and again, I really thank staff for listening, and I thank our council for working hard to make sure that the wording is appropriate for this. So thank you.
Honorable Craig.
Yeah, I would just like to acknowledge as well, I was really pleased at the revised draft, so thank you. I mean, even some of the really confusing language and the sentences of just, I feel like I'm on LAFCO, I can decipher quite a bit of it, but in some of how it was written, it was very complicated and arguably difficult to be able to unpack for anybody that was trying to go through the process. So I want to say thank you, and certainly I'll move approval of the staff recommendation.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Well, roll call vote maybe.
Commissioner Brutascu?
Although I.
Commissioner Leffel?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Oglesby?
Aye.
Commissioner Poitras?
Yes.
Vice Chair Craig,
Yes.
and Chair Gorley.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you, and a special thanks to staff on getting us through this, maybe a little over a year to get this accomplished, but we got there. And I appreciate everybody's input on this, all the city staff, so thank you. We'll now move on to executive officers' communications.
Thank you, Chair. I have two items that I was reporting on. One is the proposed sale of the building in which LAFCO leases space, just for your information. Also, I wanted to inform you that the seat currently held by Commissioner Poitras, the term of that seat ends in May. And so we have begun a review, a routine process to seek nominations to fill that seat, and expect to be coming back to you with a report on the special district elections in the next month or two. Thank you.
Commissioner comments? Anybody from the commission have anything? I think we'll move into closed session. The commission recesses to closed session agenda item. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, the commission will confer with legal counsel regarding existing litigation, Monterey Peninsula Water Management District versus LAFCO of Monterey County. On Zoom?
Chair, no hands are raised on Zoom.
Thank you.
Very impressed.
Great job, Reed.
Public comment on closed session?
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead and bring us out of closed session. Roll call.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Rudescu,
I'm here, just roll call, yeah, I'm here.
Commissioner Bickle,
Here.
Commissioner Kong,
Here.
Commissioner Leffel,
Here.
Commissioner Lopez, Commissioner Oglesby,
Here.
Commissioner Poitras,
Here.
Commissioner Velazquez, Vice Chair Craig,
Here.
and Chair Gorley.
Here.
Thank you.
Read out by general counsel.
Thank you, Chair Gorley. No reportable action today.
I will move adjournment till our next meeting, March 25th. Oh,
No, I think we all received the update from LAFCO, and they gave kudos to Kate and her team and this local LAFCO. So I just want to put that in the minutes, that Kate and her team, the executive director and her team did a great job, and that's what LAFCO said they did. Great job hosting the annual conference here. And of course, through the chair was there and led us through that. So I just want to put that in the minutes.
thank you.